Hi, everyone. My name is Brooke, and I'm the CEO of Rock the Stage Fitness. And I am just so excited to be able to launch this new podcast with you in hopes of it inspiring you on your journey. Now, when it comes to pageant preparation, we know that fitness plays a huge role. And so, my desire is to be able to share and showcase former clients and just help them to be able to share their stories with you so that you can be inspired on your own journey and to be able to really understand what it takes to be able to get a winning look, but also to do it the right way and to enjoy the process. So tonight, I am so ecstatic to be able to welcome one of my formers who I learned and work with through PR pageant coaches, the one and only Kara McCullough, now Temple. She's married with three beautiful children at this stage. Of course, when we worked together, she was single. So, Kyra, I just want to say welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I am definitely going to take my time and talk. I usually like when my voice gets raspy like this, but
Right.
this isn't the sexy raspy. So please, there's no judgment zone. Anybody listening from here on out.
I love that. So, for those of you who may not be as acquainted with Kyra, I'm going to read her bio really quickly.
Okay.
She's super impressive. And I love that she is just one she uses her intellect and has done such a great job of inspiring others to do the same. So, let's just read really quickly her bio together. Today's guest is a brilliant, grounded powerhouse woman whose life blends science, pageantry, purpose, and family. Kara McCullough-Temple is Miss USA 2017 and also a top 10 finalist at Miss Universe and a former chemist at the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. And she's also an advocate for STEM education and women's empowerment. She's a wife, a mom, a scientist, and a title holder, and one of the most thoughtful and heartfelt women you will ever meet. Kyra and I go way back through her fitness prep journey, again, meeting through PR pageant coaches. And I was a part just of her fitness prep for the stage. And I am so thrilled to have her here today, sharing on the Rock the Stage fitness journey, her experience there, but also just getting a deeper look into her life as Kyra. So, Kyra, again, welcome.
Thank you.
So we're going to start with something that's a little bit more lighthearted. Can you tell us a funny story about one of your experiences as a mom?
Yeah. So, okay, how many? There's so many. So, our middle daughter, her name is Verity, and that means truth. It's derived from Veritas, right? So
Yes,
I
Latin.
call her Verity, the Truth Temple. She's just literally a ball of joy. She's so intelligent and witty. So for instance, the other day they had a really good week at school, and they kept asking for donuts from Tim Hortons. I'm not really a donut person, to be honest, but I do like the Mary Lee donuts in Louisiana. But I was like, okay, we had a great week. Friday on the way home from school, we'll get donuts. So we go to the drive-through. I order two. Garrett the second, so we call him two. I ordered two a chocolate donut, not like a chocolate glazed donut, but a
Sure.
chocolate dough donut with like white glaze. Verity wants anything pink, so she gets a pink icing glazed donut. I'm like, I don't know. Honestly, it just didn't look as appetizing because at my big old age, like donuts like that are not appetizing to look at.
Right, right.
So I get the donuts. I pass them behind me while we're in the car. But before I pass to his donut, I love chocolate, and so does Garrett. So
Uh-huh.
I take a bite of the chocolate donut, and I put like the part that I bit off of and put it back in the bag so he doesn't see. And I was like, oh my goodness, y'all like these donuts? I'm like, these are so sweet. They're like, yeah,
Right.
mom, they're delicious. And I was like, nasty donuts. And Verity's like, good donuts, good donuts, good donuts. But for her to say it that quickly and respond,
Sure.
yes, I just couldn't help but to laugh about it. So it's amazing to like see them grow. Like I'm able to watch them,
Mhm.
like see the world through their eyes. And I always ask, I'm like, was I this intelligent as a 3-year-old, as a 4-year-old? So I really need to go back and ask my parents. I've heard like a few VHS tapes. I've seen the VHS tapes, but also we had the cassettes. My mom would we'd put them, like they would record us while we were reading and stuff. And I remember I kept interrupting my brother's reading session, and I was coming in and out of the room. What are y'all doing? Well, I'm gonna go sit with daddy. And I remember listening to this cassette. And so with all that being said, like the way I see them grow up, I want to know what I was like growing up. And I
Yes.
also just try to capture these moments as much as possible because they're so witty. It's something I would have never imagined. And I just only hope like that exacerbates in the best way possible.
I agree that they don't lose sight of that, right? As they are growing and paying attention now to like, others around them,
Yeah.
they would just love that about themselves. But you have the biggest role to play in that. And I just love that you are their mom, right? That you were so chosen to be that.
Yes.
But going back to Miss Verity with her pink donut,
Yes.
oh my gosh. So she's super feminine and girly, I'm
Is
assuming.
she? Yes. Oh my, and it's so innate.
Oh,
Everything has to be pink. She wore
oh,
a black Raptors sweatsuit the other day to the game, and as soon as she walked in the room, everyone's like, "Are you not wearing pink today?" And she's like, "Yeah, no, I'm wearing my Raptors sweater." So everything has to be pink.
oh,
The fingernail polish, the socks, and also I aid that, but I realized I also probably need to buy clothes of other colors. So I've been trying to work that in there a little bit. She
right.
may not want to wear it, but you're going to wear it. Your grandmother, your Gigi, and your Nana B bought you some clothes, so we have to wear these clothes. It's brown, baby, but it's gonna be okay. You got
Right.
it.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. My cheeks are actually hurting, like all back here from
Yes,
laughing at the story. Thank you for sharing that with us.
yes, that's my girl. Like she's
Oh,
amazing.
that
Yes.
is awesome. So I'm just curious, right? Again, this is kind of off the cuff, but
Mhm.
what has been your favorite season of life? So is it like this season of like mothering? And I know they're all different. So maybe you have like favorite moments in all of them? Yeah.
Yeah. That's very valid because I've learned from another mentor of mine. You never want to peak. Like your life should have multiple peaks, and I think that gives you the idea and desire to always want to achieve something different in life and
Yeah.
not just plateau. Going to college in South Carolina, that was a peak because I was able to study nuclear chemistry and I ended up getting a full ride, so and I went there off the strength of a colonel that went to my church and his kids went there. He brought the application to church one day. I was like, okay, I'll fill it out. And I got in and then we visited and then serendipity happened. I fell into every possible career opportunity that I needed while I was there. I had an amazing time. I never left on the weekends. Like I'm a loyal daughter. I'm a bulldog forever. That's what they're called, like loyal sons and daughters. So bulldog forever at South Carolina State University and post undergrad, starting my career in the DC area. So I worked at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. And that was like the career that I wanted. They would always come to our career days when we were in university.
Mhm.
Look, I live in Canada now. I say university. I don't say college anymore. They're
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
university. So they would come for the career days and they sold a wonderful story, but also it was a very valid and authentic story. And I lived it while I was working there. So that was another opportunity because I've always been very independent. My mom has told me that since I was younger. So I was able to flex my independence with my career, but there was something that I did while I was there as well, right? And that was Miss DC USA and then ultimately Miss USA. And that was also a beautiful moment in life because I didn't grow up doing pageants.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell you the story as well about the National American Miss pageant and how I almost did it. But I don't think I've ever told you the story, but I didn't do it because it was so expensive.
Wow.
God has always given me discernment, and I didn't recognize it until I was an adult. But and if there's anything that I pray over out loud over the kids like every night is give them peace and give them discernment. I want them to know what situations work for them and which ones they must walk away from. So I've always, like I said, I've always wanted to do pageants. And let me take that back. Not always, but there was an inkling there because one of my cousins that I admire so much, she competed. And I've always admired her confidence, her stature when she walked. Like she knew she was beautiful and she knew boys liked her. She wasn't afraid to admit that. Meanwhile, I'm like, are you talking about boys about your brother? And she's like, yeah. So I'm like I remember this day like it was yesterday. We were at Piccadilly's. I'm like, girl. So, but I'm going on a circuitous route. But all that to say that Miss DC USA was also an amazing peak in my life as well because I learned how to advocate for myself. And I
Mm.
actually studied myself. we talk about, I say we, they tell women, know yourself, but it's difficult to just like look in a mirror and talk to yourself. But people have to ask you provoking questions, whether it's literally about who's your favorite clothing designer. You just have to know how to respond off the cuff, but also be a thespian when you do it. Like you have to like, you gotta be
Yes.
so
Mhm.
comical, like, and people have to like feel your body language. And I
Mhm.
learned all of that in pageantry, and that wonderful peak allowed me to perform better when I was at work as well. And even post my USA reign and the career I'm in now, it just shows you how to add charisma to your life. And
Yeah.
now, a great season that I'm in, I would say, is just my wife role, my mother role, holding down the household role. We'll probably get on this as well, but it took me a while to accept this new phase of life because I was so independent
Yeah.
and did everything for myself. I never knew how to ask for help initially, but now I welcome it because burnout is not cute, but also why must we wear labor across our chests so badly to show the world that I can do it all? Like we can do it. Yeah, baby, we know that. But let's our health is our wealth. So we need to make sure we actually take the time to really fill your own cup up. And I've learned that from a lot of women in my life recently that I've been around. And I mean, honestly, Brooke, like your story is also amazing. Just like from the story with your kids and what the doctors told you, it's like you knew to pour into yourself and cancel out outside noise so that the supernatural can occur. And that's where I'm at now. I have the role that I have is has been given to me, and I have to walk in that favor. It's a gift, and if I don't take care of this gift and actually feed into the ecosystem that this gift has created, it's only showing that I am ungrateful for what I have. So presently, I would say now is an amazing time too because I prioritize my health more than ever.
Yeah.
I actually have more time to do things. I realized when I was like single and didn't have kids, I wasted a lot of time. A lot of time. And I remember even being Miss DC USA when I was actually preparing that final year. I worked a part-time job at a community center so I could have extra money so I could pay for my gowns and coaching and everything. And that was from 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. I
Mhm.
saw, actually, excuse me, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. I wasted so much time. And that fueled me to realize like I have so much time in the evening to do everything that I need to do to prepare for the pageant. And that's how I look at things now. Like it's scheduled so that I can go to the gym, so that I can make sure I take all the kids to tennis and karate and do all the things and cook and fold the clothes. But more importantly, so I can go to the gym and get my nails done. So
Yes. Taking us through your story, I am sure that whoever's listening needed to hear about the ebbing and flowing, the peaks in every season. Because if we're just looking for one moment to satisfy us, even just for the duration of life or the remainder of life, we're missing something. I love that you haven't stopped living,
yeah,
right? So Miss USA was just one chapter, right, in the entire book of destiny. There's so much more still to explore, so much more adventure left to be lived, and to be able to just, yeah, to just
live.
embrace it as you would have said. And I think, yeah, I think life is really about discovery. Even though, I mean, the way that you just beautifully laid out just how pageantry did that for you, how you just discovered more of Kyra. And there's still more to discover, even though I was able to go before, many of my clientele in terms of pageantry and experience some things. I recognize that life keeps moving. And I think sometimes girls are so focused on winning a certain title and that being the just like the everything in life. And it's just not.
It's
Like,
not.
and I always tell girls there is life after pageantry. Now we wanna hit this goal and I wanna help you hit it, right? Because I'm gonna work with
Mhm.
you. I can get you to the goal, right? In terms of body structure and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, I need for you to dream this thing and see that life is really this entire process is really about you becoming.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
can I add, so when we got to top two,
Yeah.
Me and Chavi were holding hands, and um, after we gave each other like a little like powwow, I put my head down and I started praying. And I just said to God, I'm like, please don't let this be the end of my life. Whether I win or I lose, allow life to go on. And actually, if you go back and look at the crowning moment, they're zooming in on my face and you can see like one teardrop fall from my eye and my mouth is moving. Like I was just like, don't let this be the end. I just need my life to go on because
Wow.
I've seen it. And it always feels so bad first when I see the girls make this their life's climax. And it's an amazing accomplishment. But like you said, like you are given so many we're given time and opportunity and will in life, and you should always want to exercise and flex that. I knew that no matter what happened, I knew I was going to be okay, and I was just happy for the experience. I was happy to take a few weeks off of work. So I was like, the job was so supportive of it. I was like, oh my gosh, I get to like let my hair down for once, quite literally, because I wore a bun for 2 years straight when I worked at my job. So I was like so excited, but I just knew I'm like, God, like don't let this be the end. And even post Miss USA, we'll probably touch on it too, but you definitely go through a lot mentally, thinking that you have to like uphold this image
Yeah.
and how people want to perceive you. And I pulled away from myself for a long time, just based off of what I thought others wanted. And like I said, like now I'm finally getting back to myself. Like the other day, even at a game, I put four straight backs in my hair, like
Yeah.
boxing braids, as these girls say, right? So, and it was just like really like chic. I was like, oh, I laid my baby hairs down, and like I got jewelry on. This guy was like, oh, I saw you walking earlier, and I was like, I really like your style, and I'm like, I am so flattered. I was like, I'm finally getting back to myself. So thank you. I'm like, I've been wearing so much makeup and doing everything that was never really me. And it was putting me in a different place. So
Yeah.
I'm thankful for the growth. I'm thankful for the opportunities, but there's nothing like knowing what you want. And
Yeah.
to your point as well earlier about you said about helping the girls like find themselves is all about discovery. I've always when girls are they've asked me like, well, what do you think about this gown? And I say, how does it make you feel? And they're
Mm.
like, I want to know if you like it. I'm like, I want to know if you like it. I was like, no one can tell you what looks best on you because you will radiate on the stage. And I believe that because it even came down to me wearing my hair curly.
Sure.
Nobody knew until
Yeah.
we were in Houston
Yeah.
doing
I
makeup
remember.
thing. We'll probably talk about it, but I came with like a pack of hair, and I was like, somebody sew these clip-ins on, and the girl was like, no. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to go to my hair store in Sugarland, Texas, right?
Literally.
And the gentleman that worked at the store said, "Oh, you can just do the simple clip-ons." He's like, "You just cut them yourself and add them on." I was like, "What? This is genius!" I was up that night in the room cutting this weft of hair, placing them on my head just to make my curly clip-in so we could do my headshot photos. So I know we'll talk about it. So I just know, like, let me stay on topic.
Yes, I love that. There's so much depth here.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm literally speechless. I'm like, okay, which direction should we take? Because I feel like this conversation is really going to be helpful to most
Okay. Yeah.
as they're navigating through. And I'm going to tell you, even at Miss USA, watching you on that stage, and because I had history with you, right, and training you behind the scenes, I already knew the value that you would bring, the type of quality person that you are. I already knew that.
Mhm.
And it just showed on stage. And I think if you could just talk about this really quickly, I feel like sometimes the pursuit for most is to put on airs, right? Because they want to be able to please whomever is looking and please these panel of judges. And so they're like, well, what should I say? Who should I
Mhm.
be?
Mhm.
And that's really not the question, right?
Mhm.
It is more, again, very internal. It's
Mhm.
asking, as you mentioned before, those provoking questions that really help you, again, to discover more and to embrace, which are words we use, so that you can maximize who you are. And when you step on whatever platform, stage, opportunities in terms of profession, marriage, right? Looking for the right gentleman, which somebody asked me how you met your husband. I was like, I don't know if she's going to answer that or not, but I'll ask her. But it shines. That's my point. Why would someone ask you that, Kyra? Why would someone ask you, how did she meet her husband? It's because it's inspiring,
Okay.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
I needed to hear that because I think I allow skepticisms to step in. I'm always, and then that's something I've been working on a lot in my life, not thinking that everyone's like ill intended. People are genuinely just curious and
Yeah.
nosy, you know, and not just because you said like, just because you're like, oh, I just genuinely want to know. So, yeah, yeah.
Because they're looking, right, for hope. And out of all the things I could have asked, I was like, how did she meet him? And I mean, we could literally talk about relationships. I'm sure that the audience would love that. But, relationships is one of those things, especially as a young lady, that you are trying to navigate through. But I will tell you the key I've always found to be true is that if a man is living authentically as himself, like, and in purpose, he is literally looking for the perfect match, right? Who will help him to level up in that. And it's not about all the makeup or all the glam. There is something on the inside of her that just speaks.
Yeah.
My husband says all the time, he was like, when I met you, I knew.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, it's just a knowing, because you have done the work beforehand to discover who you are. It's just awesome.
So, you know, my little DC teen
Yeah.
sister, Karis. I talked to her the other day and I was like, you know, Karis, you were always that girl, but now that you're older, I was like, I just want you to realize how much you've matured and how your confidence like shows through. She has such an amazing personality. But I remember when she's called me before in the past about things about boys.
Yeah.
And I would remind her, I said, like, what do I always tell you? She's like, stack my bread and focus on myself. I'm like, yes. I was like, I'm trying to tell you. I was like, you have to feed
It's
into
true.
yourself in every way possible, because then when that gentleman comes to sweep you off your feet, he is only going to proliferate that tenfold.
Yeah.
Tenfold. I was like, so if you are focusing on your career, your health, how you want your life to be lived, when your match comes, it only proliferates, literally. So it's
Yes.
so funny because I always tell her that. She's like, stack your bread. I'm like, yeah, girl. Put your money away. I was like, make sure you like, I set her up with her case stuff. I was like, yeah, you like, this is a must. I'm like, I don't play around about this. I'm like, even if it's $50 a month, I don't care. Put the money away. Yeah.
Right. Right. I love that. I
So is
know
that
those.
a question? Are you asking me how I met my husband? Is that a question?
It was a question about how you met your husband, and then we're going to talk about health as well, because I know this is what this podcast is for. But I
Okay.
am sure that everybody is enjoying this conversation just as much as I am. But yeah, how did you and your husband meet?
Okay. So it's very convoluted. So listen, focus, take notes. Okay. So, and excuse my very aesthetic background. You ready? Okay, I'm just playing. So as you know, we were both in the, actually you wouldn't know. So we were both in the DC area at the same time. When I was working for the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, he was playing for the Wizards. So I first came to DC in 2013 after college. So it was September 2013. I believe he came like December 2012. I remember we always talk about this. So I went out enough. I didn't party a lot because by the time Friday came, I was exhausted and I had no fuel left in the tank to hang out with my friends. I'm like, I'm just trying to catch up on rest at this point. The most I would do would be like Thursday nights at park for dinner, because it was always like very good. And but I rarely went out. But apparently, like he did go out. He's an athlete, etc. So we never crossed paths. But after I won this DC USA, this couple, we call them aunt and uncle. Their names are Dina and Joe. They are his like quasi aunt and uncle that he met in the DC area as well through another teammate, Bradley Beal. So everyone just became like a big family. Now, I believe she read an article about me and was like, hey, I know you're ready to settle down. You might like this girl. And he was like, okay, well, like hook us up, make it happen. She's like, well, actually, we don't know her. So he was like, so how are you asking me about a girl that you don't even know? She's like, well, get your people to contact her people and make it do what it do. And he's like, well, she does pageants. He's like, okay, actually, I'm good on that. So then that would have been December, 27, December, it was January, between like January and May 2017, right? So then May 2017 comes around. I'm saying that because I won the pageant at this point. And then after May 2017, I guess she circles back and says like, hey, you remember the girl I showed you,
Mhm.
And she was like, well, she won Miss USA. And he was like, okay. So he looked me up. He's like, okay, well, she seems pretty intelligent. She speaks well. She has like great career accolades, great academic accolades. And so he was like, okay, well, like, whatever. I'm still not into her because she's a pageant girl. So I always tell him, I'm like, I'm glad you didn't contact me when they first mentioned it because I wasn't into athletes. So look, the
Mhm.
street goes both ways, baby. Okay. So, but upon meeting him, okay, I'm always like, we're in this day and age now. You can't deny it. Okay. So I got a like on Instagram. I saw it. I ignored it. I ignore all of them. The blue checks, I'm like, I ignored all of them. It was never of interest to me.
Okay.
But then a friend called me one day and was like, girl, how do you know Garrett Temple? And I was like, so I'm like reading the message in my bed. I was like, is that the guy? I was like, So I go on IG and I was like, oh, so I'm like, okay, that is him. She's like, girl, that is husband materials. I was like, so I go to his page and I was like, okay. So then I was like, I follow back. I'm like, okay, let me just go ahead and follow back. And then I get a message, hey, thanks for following me. I'm like, okay, I ignore the message. And then I get another message like a couple of days later. But we talked for like 2 weeks. And then I said, you know what? I don't know what else to say to you. So I'm going to end the conversation here. And he's like, well, we could take it off IG. I'm like, I'm okay. And I was always told if you want to get rid of a guy, you ask for money. So I let him know. I was like, look, I'm sure you wouldn't want a platonic friendship. And on top of that, you're not going to donate to my nonprofit. Now, let's pause the story for a second. Okay, we're going to go over here. My husband is obsessed with coming to America, as we all are in our community, right? And Lisa was a smart girl, right? So he's
Yeah.
always been, I want a smart girl, like a Lisa, like a Lisa McDowell. So Prince Akeem needs a Lisa McDowell, right? And that is me. So now we're back in the story, right? He says, well, actually, I love nonprofits. I love supporting the kids. What is it that you need? So I'm like, you're supposed to go away. Like, he didn't, but also that wasn't rejection because if it was rejection, it's protection from God, right? So the
Yes.
persistence on his term. So we ended up, I think actually we stopped talking again. And then I saw he posted about his birthday in May. It was he posted his birthday story. It was like, thanks, fam, for the birthday shout out. And I said, oh my gosh, his birthday is in May. So I really don't do the horoscope stuff, but just like follow me. Okay. Dated in college. He, God rest his soul. He was shot and killed, but so sad at a park. I feel for his family all the time, but people would always say we had an amazing connection. And they were like, it just seems like y'all been together forever. So when I saw, because his birthday was also in May. So when I saw Garrett's birthday was in May, I was like, what is your number? And then he was like, oh, hey, I was like, yeah, let's talk tonight. I promise you, we talked on FaceTime. He's so disgusting. He was clipping his toenails. We were so comfortable on the first call. But, and I felt like we both knew then and
Yeah.
there was a connection. But also the more I learned about him, like I was a military kid. So we traveled a lot because of my mom being in the military. I don't meet many Black Americans who travel a lot. So
Mhm.
our first conversation, he told me how he went to Ghana when he was an adolescent. He went to Egypt with his family as well. He's done like 2 Ghana trips, and were at a school. He hated bananas, but all they had was for bananas to eat. He sat right there on that curb and ate a banana. So I was able to meet a different type of athlete than what I saw in the
Yes.
media.
Sure.
And to your point earlier about when a man walks right, when his intentions are pure,
Mm.
quite literally when they have favor over their life, but they know that this favor, like they have to give it back and they walk in it. They know what they're looking for. And I always tell him, I'm like, thank you for waiting, because your
Wow.
situation can be far different. And because I met him when he was 32, and my man's about to be 40 in May. So it's just crazy how time has flown by. And Joe and Dina, they're like our aunt and our uncle now as well. And I'm just so thankful for them, because every time I see them, she's like, I did that. I'm like, no, but you really did. And I was like, matchmaker, I'm
Mm.
very like against it, but she did her thing. But also, it's not even like for her to take all the glory either. It's literally just divine. And even Paula Shugart said that during our Miss USA interview, when she came in to speak to us with all the contestants from every state in the room. She's like, quite literally, it's somebody's destiny. And the whole room like takes a deep breath, and you just feel like I'm getting chills again thinking about it, because I don't know why I've been given this type of like favor and destiny, but I've always just like been thankful for it. And actually, one of my cousin that I admire, I went to her church 3 summers ago when I was pregnant with Verity, and it was like a women's event. And I brought up that topic, and she reminded me that our Father is supposed to protect us and give us the best. She's like, and what does a father do? He gives gifts, and she's like, quite literally, accept your gifts. I'm like, wow, plain as day, So yeah, 2020, the new age, 2020, whatever, how we met was Instagram. But nonetheless, there was also a component for somebody connecting us.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm afraid to admit that it was Instagram, but it was. So yeah, the end.
Yeah.
Yes,
But he found you.
he did. Yeah,
He
he
found
did.
you. And for those of you who are listening, again, I know we are so not talking about fitness and pageantry, but just hear us in this moment, because I just think it's just so valuable. And this might be like a two-part podcast, but this is just such value as you are seeking out just next steps in your life. It's just a matter of time. If you put in the work behind the scenes, stack
Yeah,
your bread, just make sure you're doing what you need to do behind the scenes. And I promise you, doors will open for you. I call it private order. Uh,
yes,
it's just a matter of getting things in order and really believing that there is something greater in store for you. You will not have Kyra's story. This is Kyra's story, right? So we don't want to covet her story, or
that's right.
idolize her. I think it's beautiful. We can celebrate her, but she can serve as a point of inspiration for the everybody who's watching to say, I may not know what's next, but I actually know my next step, and that is to focus
Yes,
on who I am becoming and allow that natural process of private order and really seeking the right few things in my singleness or whatever that looks like, right? Whatever stage you're in, to really make it count, because your next door of opportunity is waiting for you.
yeah,
It's just true. So
yeah,
I want to close out by just talking about the statement health is wealth.
yeah,
And I know in pageantry, girls are all over the place when it comes to this. There are so many methodologies, varying coaching techniques. I am one that I honor integrity. It matters to me. And so if I'm recommending anything to a girl, I want to know that at the end of my time with her, that she can walk away and still have babies. She can walk away and not struggle with life because I told her to do something, right, that was contrary to the beauty of her body. I want to hear from you in regards to health is wealth. What does that mean to you?
longevity. I've learned recently. My husband read the book Outlive, and I did the audio version of it. And the biggest component that I've taken away from the book is you want to have the maximum amount of healthy years, like of a health span
Yeah.
possible. I want to be present as much as possible for my loved ones. And that's me always putting selflessness in front of everything. I mean, yes, we do it for aesthetic. I'm not going to deny that either. It's, probably like 40%, but I definitely also do it for longevity. And I will also say my husband is a major component of that as well, because he always reminds me how much of a better mood I'm in after I work out. It's
Oh,
very obvious when I don't work out.
yeah.
I'm just sloshy, and you can feel it, you can see it. Even having last night, maybe like 4 hours of sleep because Sloan, the baby, she's going through a little sick hiccup right now. I had to pretty much hold her all night. Couldn't get her comfortable, and I finally got her down to sleep. And I probably had 4 hours of sleep, but it
Yeah.
felt amazing, right? So I drank coffee this morning. I'm really not supposed to be drinking coffee. I don't do well with caffeine, but I put some creatine in there because adding on to the health as well part, we want to make sure that we're putting the proper supplements. And I know something that I do now because of Miss Brooke is liquid vitamins. Okay. No more
Yes.
gummies, y'all. Get on it. Okay. No more gummies. It's about the longevity and just being present and just having maximum amount of health span possible so
Oh,
that when the ailments do come, or like when the decline should happen, you've had more health than inability to move. Yeah, that's what I think.
wow. So good. This is what it's really about. It's really not, even though pageantry is for sure aesthetic, right? It is, you get on a stage, they're looking at physique in terms of the judge's estimation. But from our space, you can live this thing and it become a part of who you are for the duration of your life. So that again, the purpose is I want to be my best self. And I'm going to
Yeah,
step on stage authentically to represent what that looks like. And I'm not putting on a front. This is just lifestyle. And it comes across so differently. You know, you're not having to cover things up or pretend or have any pretense. It's just who you are. And when we
yeah,
embrace that there is a better way, we can look at our family members, which is typically what I'm talking about with my clients. I'm like, just look around. You know, you can look at people who you really do love, but are struggling in regards to health and wellness. Whereas if somebody, and if maybe they would have invested earlier on just to understand how food works in the body, right? So both, we have the chemistry in common, but
yeah.
understanding the
Mhm.
way nutrition works in the body, the science behind movement, why your mood does change whenever you are just again causing that body to move
Yeah,
and causing the chemicals and cortisol and all that stuff to kind of just be at bay, it makes a difference in your experience with life. So
yeah.
let's talk about what are you doing in the gym at this stage of your life whenever you go? What does that look like for Kyra?
Yeah, I'm a weights girl all
Okay,
day.
you're
I
lifting.
love weights. I
Yes.
do. I live for it because I love tone.
Yes.
So I've always been an athlete. I didn't
Yep.
make it collegiately, but I did play intramurals, second team. So what it is all good. I was able to focus on my studies, so it's all good. But I'm definitely a weights girl. But right now, so if I work out at home, I do a Peloton workout. I really like Katie Wong. Yes, yes, Katie Wong. It's spelled like Wang, but it's Wong. Katie Wong.
Okay.
I also love Adrian and another dude. I just blanked on his name. He'll come back. But I'll either do like a Brad Lopez as well. The most I'll do is a 20 or 30-minute boot camp. And mostly it's been 20 minutes lately, only because like just for I'm pressed for time.
Yeah.
And every time I do a 20-minute workout, I call Garrett. I'm like, that's all it takes. And he's like, that's it.
Yep.
Just 20 minutes. And being real, it's probably 15 because you got 5 minutes of warming up and then 4 minutes
Yeah.
of warming up, then a minute of like stretching at the end. So he's like, that's it. I'm like, that. I'm like, it's so easy. He's like, literally. And to add another thing in there, I always think about my physical chemistry professor in college.
Okay.
I did really well in my first exam. And then the second exam, I went in there to get some insight from him. And he was like, when do you eat? And I said, like, every day. Like, when I'm hungry. He goes, exactly. Do you wait till the end of the week to eat? I'm like, no. Like, Mr. Masudi was from somewhere in the Middle East. I was like, no. Like, he's like, exactly. That's how you need to study. You need to study every day for a little bit.
Mhm.
Like, just like you eat. And the same thing goes for working out.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be extreme. I think we think that you need to be running and being and then hitting like high rocks and the weights and then being in the gym for like 2 hours. But it literally only takes like 20 minutes or even a walk after dinner, a walk in the morning. Like it's going to go a long way.
Yeah.
So when I'm in the gym, I've been working with a trainer twice a week from off the strength of one of my friends I've met here in Toronto, this one attorney. So I work with her trainer and we do both upper and lower body and then full days. So all types of machines, all weights,
Okay.
bands, and I'm really trying to get my upper body strength back. Like my biggest fear is hanging from something and I
Mm.
can't survive. So I'm like, I never want to be hanging and I can't pull my body up. So I like working on the pull-ups, like using the bands. And like for instance, I'll tell you what we did today. Started out with body weight squats.
Mhm.
We got on the press machine. I did 45, two 45s on each side. So that's 90. And then plus the bar, maybe like an extra like 35. I had to do 8 of those. And then we also did, actually, I can never remember all my workouts to be honest. So at the
Right.
end, we did a lot of ab workouts too with the band, but um, weights, free weights. And also I do a lot of body weight as well. If we're in a hotel room and I can't make it to the gym, I'll pull out a boot camp on the Peloton app. And so maximize it fast as you can, incline
Mhm.
as fast as you can. And this is all based off the strength of the things that my husband has like read and studied about as well.
Right.
He reminds me, you don't have to just run a mile anymore, Kyrie. He's like, you could just get your sprints in and it's the same amount of work. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yes.
They do.
That's something to tell you about that. Okay, go ahead.
They work so well that I mean you're literally winded by the time you finish. So as a lifestyle for sure, I have those included just throughout the week, just to be able to give, yeah, some variety. But yeah, please share.
Sorry. Of course,
Is your little one up?
you want to say hi? Actually,
Yeah.
she's not wearing pink right now. Verity, do you like when mommy goes to the gym? Do you want to exercise with me when we go?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Okay.
Hi,
Uh,
sweetheart.
so the Garrett always we always have this joke if we see somebody outside power walking or running kind of funny, we be like, get that VO2 max up. So that's like our joke. Or if someone hurts their leg or something, we're like, you got to get that VO2 max up. What's that?
Right, right. It's
Yeah,
so true.
literally.
It's so true.
Okay,
Yeah.
you get to go to bed, right? No, I don't want to go. Okay, do me a favor. Go put your baby doll in the bed, okay? Tuck her in tight, okay? No. Okay, you can come back afterwards, okay?
Oh my goodness. Let me let you go. I want to ask one last question. What advice would you give then to a girl who is where you were? I'm not sure what your processing looked like before competing for DC because I think we met after you were crowned, like you were preparing for Miss USA. But I'm curious as to what you would say to a young lady, young adult who is on the she's about I mean, she's just trying to figure it out. What bit of advice would you give? I know we gave a lot of good content already, but in her preparation process, especially for fitness, but also just in general.
Well, I feel like it's a lot I would give, right? So you fitness and just competing in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nobody knows you better than you.
Mm,
And persistence is literally like your cheat code.
yes.
And I would always remind girls that are competing and doing and trying to achieve different things in their competition cycle. There's a hard deadline for the pageant.
Mm-hmm.
Treat everything that you're trying to accomplish in life with that same hard deadline. And as cliche as it sounds, like you have to be yourself. You
Mm,
have to. And everything should be conversational. The type of person that they want to crown, and even when I've like worked with other girls in the interview process, and I've discovered, you know, when a girl has it, right? And that it is divine, it's their destiny, but also I truly believe, like you said, it's something that they've been working towards and having. It's okay. Just having the desire to discover what it is that makes them complete. How do you get that? I mean, there's so many ways. I feel like you really won't know until you start diving in, right?
yeah.
I'm always grateful that my mom was just somebody who was still in a storm. She never had to boast about anything. She never had to feel as if like she had to compete with other people. And I've always taken that from her. And another thing you brought up earlier, which makes me want to say this, is that we want to look at other girls' lives and how other people have competed, and we want to mimic that. But that's their favor. It's not yours. And we may look at other people's accomplishments and think, well, why doesn't it happen to me? That's their favor. What's yours? Like, unbox yours. Let's focus on you. And so I would just remind girls, everything you do, put a hard deadline on it. Whatever you wear, you have to light up in it. Any conversations that you have, truly be honest about what it is. Like, don't just think that this is what people want to hear, because being completely honest, when you think about the panel of judges, none of them are pageant experts. They're literally human beings. Absolutely. And that's one other point I want to add in there too. Yeah. We are being judged by other human beings. This is not the determining factor of your life.
Yeah, it's not.
Let me know, babe. It is. Yes, mouth from babes, right? So it is not the determining factor. So
it's not the determining factor.
Yes, babe. So it's easy. It's easy to get caught up.
It's easy to get
caught up in other humans judging you. It's so easy. We've been doing, I know this is like, we're talking about health, but also you're a woman of faith. So these past 2 weeks in the mornings, we've been doing our daily bread devotionals with the kids at breakfast. And it's actually been very shocking to see them answer the questions at the end of the daily bread. And I'm like, wow, they know so much. But what I gathered from that is when you're learning to be still and everything and focus on yourself, that's when that you truly find yourself, truly, because everything will just start rolling off your back. You won't look at what other people are doing. Like if somebody can compile all that quickly, I hope they could. But it is definitely like all those components where you have to be yourself. You have to realize you can't look left or right. The hardest person to impress should be yourself, and that's what you should be focusing on.
Oh man.
And also, go for it, girl. If you want to do it, go hard. Go all the way in, get as much coaching. I know it's expensive, but there are plenty of options out here to help you. I'm an open book. Call me, whatever you need. Send me a message. I give out all of the secrets, whatever you want to know. If you want to do it, start now. Don't wait a month before. That last year when I competed, going to Miss DC USA, the third year I competed, I started practicing 9 months out. And training 9 months out. So go hard, girl. Do it. Put a hard deadline on it. Eat the right foods. Take those liquid vitamins. And do your walks after dinner.
Listen, Kyra, and Verity, I am so happy and honestly honored to have just the chance to talk with you. This conversation literally was nothing that we scripted, all organic, just conversation. And I think it's what it needed to be, just to be able to maybe take a different approach and change a mindset, encourage a heart, right? Help to release confidence that when there's some things that will be unlocked if you are just willing to kind of explore, and they're beautiful things. It's perfect for you. And as you keep going, you never know who will be in your path to be the matchmaker, whether it be romantic relationships or platonic. You just never know who's watching. As you all are preparing for whatever is next, whether it's in the Miss USA system, Miss America, whatever system that you are considering, just know that there's some doors that are going to open for you as you've done the work behind the scenes. So, Kara, thank you again for your time, taking Miss Verity along the journey with us at the end. And ladies, I'm going to encourage you, if you can, like, share, subscribe, comment, let us know what you thought about today's session. But also take time to go back and watch the replays of all the other ladies. This podcast is new, it's launching, and it's purposeful. And it's specifically for you. So we hope that you enjoyed. Thank you so much for being with us today. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. All right. Thank you again, Kyra.
All right, bye.